Hi, everybody. Happy 111. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to be sharing a special experience with us today. I'm going to be navigating into Purgatory, and we're going to take a look at one Purgatory space that's really impacting our collective right now. And I'm going to do some healing and some support to release your light from that space, bring it back to yourself, and help you continue to navigate this day-to-day world, human world, without being pulled into a space that's not really tuned into your highest vibration. So most people aren't aware that we are interdimensionally connected to everywhere, and some parts of everywhere influence us a lot in our day-to-day human lives, whether we have conscious clarity about it or just totally unconscious, but we just feel it every day. So if you're feeling, let's say, foggy and lost, and if you were to sit down and start describing the way it feels to be you, you could say something like, I don't even know who I am. I feel like I'm lost in day-to-day life. I can't get grounded. I'm not really sure what I'm doing anymore. You could be tuning into a purgatory space where an aspect of yourself literally is just mindlessly wandering in eternity without any ground, without any clarity, just forevermore seeking and never finding. How did you get there? Don't know. A lot of ways you can get into these spaces. Sometimes we feel so sad that we renounce ourselves. And then we just become a little bit more like eyes staring through a shell than adventurous animated bodies, you know? And so we don't know all the ways that life happens to us. We happen to ourselves. We do things, make statements clearly in our minds, or just through our behaviors, we change. And that changes where our souls are adventuring and navigating. So if you don't want to feel that way anymore, you pull yourself back to yourself, get grounded, and start living again. So I'm going to be helping you today. And the inspiration for this, I want to thank you so much. You commented on my Patreon schedule for January. And we're asking if there's a way to offer some support. In my mystery school in January, I'm going to be doing a Purgatory deep dive where we're going to learn more about Purgatory together and do some soul retrieval energy healing work. Well, what could I offer here on YouTube that can give you a taste of that? Be supportive if Patreon's just not a good step for you right now. So I'm going to do that today. And I want to thank you for this inspiration. Thank you so much for commenting on my Patreon schedule. I'm offering Patreon as an opportunity if you want to connect with me through a live experience. I'm offering 5 live experiences a month on Patreon. It's a stepping stone if you're not able to book a session and you want something more than YouTube. Patreon is a place where it's a spiritual community. I'm really excited about it. I offer a lot there. I mean, an energy activation, mini readings. If there's something you'd love for me to journey into, anything in the universe, healing for the group, just ask. So I do that on one of the Thursdays. I do a mystery school each month. It's going to be any topic where we can learn and grow together and receive some healing, an hour-long experience. And then I'm also offering a psychic development small group. So if you want to learn how to do what I do, you join the small group and we actually hang out together. We talk, I answer questions, I teach you how to journey. It's so enriching. So check out Patreon. I'll put a link in the description if it feels like a good fit for you. In saying all that, we're going to do the thing now. I'm going to relax. Get in the zone here. And let's see, what is a space in Purgatory that wants to come forward? Today's the 11th of January, so 111, what an interesting day. If you're into that sort of thing, right? Okay. This is the picture that comes forward. There's a star in the sky that's not a material, physical star. It's just a bright light. And it represents being in the distance overhead and then being right over my head, okay? And from this light beams down a light. So here we have white star beaming down white light. and it beams down through my chakras, like right through my body. It just beams right through me, okay? Right into the ground. This space is pretty interesting looking. It's kind of a reddish brown, kind of rounded horizon, like I'm on a small planet. Now, in the distance, there's like a triangular doorway. Everything is not of the material. It's of an interdimensional space. This triangular doorway is just black. There is no frame to it. It's just energy. So this is the space. This is where I stand. I'm trying to move towards the door. It's intriguing me. I want to take a step, but I'm kind of shish kebabbed. This light is actually shish kebabbing me. I can't take a step. I can't move. I'm kind of stuck on a post of light. And I'm using my mind to try to outwit the situation. And I'm moving the colors, the space, everything around. So I'm distorting the framework. I'm changing the rules, okay? And when I do that, I turn the framework counterclockwise. And so I'm turning the framework until slowly but surely this triangular doorway starts to revolve closer and closer and closer to me so it can revolve through me. And I can actually move through the doorway without having to step towards it. I have to change the framework. So it doesn't matter if I'm shish kebabbed, I can outsmart this. So I see that I've wound this space so tight that even moving through the triangular door, I'm still stuck in a knot. I'm even more knotted up now than I was before. This is the message. This is the experience. This is about you. This is about your purgatory space, okay? This is a collective healing right now. We're all a part of this. Somehow, some way, we are all familiar with what I'm talking about. Okay. My guides are showing me how sometimes in life we get attracted to something that's interesting. Might be in the distance, might be right overhead. Either way, it catches our eye and it's nice. Even a nice sort of event, the light that comes down upon us and through us, it seems interesting, like, oh, maybe it's giving me a gift. But really it's shish kebabbing you and is creating a new challenge. So the gift then is a challenge. Now the challenge is to use your head, use your brain, outsmart this. I want to get to that triangular door. So you shish kebabbed me, good for you. You don't got me. I'm not stuck here. I can figure this out. And so winding, like revolving the space around where we got stuck, okay, is a solution, but it's also not a solution. We haven't taken the time yet to really understand ourselves in the predicament that we're in. They're telling me this isn't necessarily purgatory yet. It's just a predicament right now. We begin here with the predicament. I have to accept this is not the way, and I let go of how I revolved this space around me. And it got knotted around me, and now it's like really quickly spinning back into place. And I say I'll outwit this by outwitting time itself. If I have to stand here and I have to be shish kebab, so be it. I'll stand here for freaking eternity. I'm kind of like flicking off the universe, like, screw you. You want to do this to me? I will outwit you, eternity. I will outwit you. And I will just be stuck here forever if that's what you want. Then that's what I want too. Let's see which one wants to shift first. So yeah, I'm just like hanging out. And I go to sleep. It's one way to pass the time. As a soul, yes, you can go to sleep. Energetically, it's kind of a dangerous decision. But I'm not going to be a statue. And I'm not going to be remaining still. And I'm not going to become one with that which shish kebabs me. I fall asleep, and when that happens, a drip of my soul moves through this white, piercing light. It drips through, and it goes actually into the ground. And when that happens, I've lost a teardrop of my essence. It's not because I necessarily wanted to lose anything, but because losing something was part of moving forward. It's interesting, when we lose something, we gain something, but we never forget what we lost, and sometimes we linger on what we lost more than what we are gaining. That's the truth, you know? And so I am in the teardrop, and I'm going down into this sort of flesh of the energy space. I find myself like a child, a forgetful child. There's lots of strange beings that I meet along the way. I feel like Pinocchio in a way, like I want to trust everybody. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter how they talk. It doesn't matter how they walk. I just want to trust everybody innocently. So, and sometimes I get a feeling about it like, maybe I shouldn't be trustworthy here. Maybe I shouldn't be talking to this person, but I do anyway. And I find that what remains of this tiny teardrop is taken little bits at a time by passerbyers until I'm just like a little bit of a stain on the ground. I'm like a scab on a knee that never heals. I long for my higher essence to remember me, to not forget me, to heal me, to guide me. But my higher essence is actually shish kebabbed and sleeping by choice. And so there's even a higher essence that I seek. And I start to understand it was the star all along. I was seeking my higher self. In the process of seeking my higher self, seeking what caught my eye, didn't know it was my higher self. Thought it was interesting. Bam, shish kebabs me. Nah, I got this. No, I don't have this. Oh, well, whatever. I'm fine. I'm just gonna, is this what you want? I'm just gonna, I'm here. I'm gonna stay here. I don't care. If you want it to be different, it's gonna be different. So I'm just gonna embrace this. Fall asleep, become a teardrop, falling into a lower dimensional plane. What's interesting is they say this still is in purgatory. And I say, well, aren't we trying to get into purgatory here? Like, what's the point of this? They're kind of speaking to me silently right now about how important this is. How very, very important this is. Sometimes what we think we need is only kind of like a stepping stone to something deeper that we need. And what we deeply need right now in this video is to follow along with this memory, follow along with this sensation. It's all about conflict and how we work through it. And how many conflicts upon conflicts can intertwine. So much so that we forget where we are along the way. We forget that it's our higher self all along that's got us in all of this. That understands how we are amplifying the balance of the machine of our of our development, okay? And where we feel like we need some oil, we need to fix this cog here. Oh, we cracked. We need to repair ourselves now. It's like all this stuff goes so much deeper than the surface, and it goes deeper than that, and even deeper than that, and even deeper than that. And all along, it's oddly comforting, this message, oddly comforting. The comforting part is the fact that I don't have to know it all. I can try. I can think I know it. I can discover the outcome is I don't know it well enough yet. I can challenge its intelligence. I can fall asleep. You can become a teardrop in another dimension. Like a reborn Pinocchio. It's not about the truth or lies. It's just about being innocent. Trying to understand what it means to go from a puppet to a real boy, so to speak. And in the process of becoming real and authentic, what is taken from you? And why does it get taken? Did you give it freely? And what remains sometimes on the path is a scab that doesn't heal. You're just some smear on the ground. And why did your higher self want this for you? Why did your higher self guide this? This was the perfect chapter in your story. And it just doesn't make any dang sense sometimes. Why this way? Why this way? Now I see that it's like behaviors. I see the behavior that's developed in this story is almost like confidence and control. And what is learned is pliable. It's almost like you have to become flexible to so many uncontrollable situations. And it's breaking at times if you don't want that. And it's all self-centered in some way, like is intentionally for the Pinocchio to run into the not so good instead of the helpful. It was intentional for it to be like this. Because the sense of not being in control was important, and the sense of losing oneself was important, and the sense of knowing that it's not about how smart or witty or clever you are. It's about the path and where it takes you, even breaks you along the way. What you lost now is also what you gain. That you have to embrace the gains. But I say, what have I gained in this? Seems to me that I've gained a sense of loss of control, a sense of lack of confidence, a sense of despair, being the skid mark on a weird ground when it was so interesting before. Why did interesting have to be taken away? Did you lure me into a trap? Is that it? It seems to me like a bit of aggressiveness towards the universe and wanting a little more support instead of a little more conflicts, right? Ease up on me already. The higher self says, I will not take you back the way you came. This isn't about becoming what once was. It's about becoming something new, basically. So this is the many steps it takes to die. But you'll always be in the memory. And I start to notice the ground crack like nobody's business. Like if the whole earth were split in two, what kind of sound would that create? I hear a sound like that, and all the mindless exchanges and the takings and the losses and this conversation about the gain, but I don't know what the gain was because it feels like so much lack. Bam, crack. And all of this seems kind of superficial, as real as it once was. Because when the crack happens, I start to notice unimaginable quantities of lost souls. It's sort of swallowed up into a jawbreaker of a planet in an energy space. They just all smush together into a hardened state. And it's part of like, heat and pressure creates diamonds. It's like heat and pressure on the soul creates diamonds of souls. Like, You had to get into the trap to become truly brilliant. And you had to lose everything in order to gain it all, which was your brilliance. And never forget that. So when you're crying about how much life sucks, you're actually on the path to your brilliance. And I hear a small voice say, and how long does it take to get there? And I hear a chuckle about eternity. And don't fear eternity. And don't fear the path to becoming a diamond. Embrace it. Embrace yourself. Embrace your higher self. Embrace your story. And now you'll see there is no more purgatory for you. Because there's no more resistance. No more loathing. There we go. That was really, really cool. This is going to be an even more interesting deep dive in the mystery workshop on Patreon. This is a taste of what you can experience. It's all thought-provoking, but it's energetically transformative, and it's here to actually change your life. I'm not just talking to the air, I'm actually speaking to your soul. And your soul and your human self in your interdimensional reality. I'm speaking to every single thing. You either receive it or you reject it, but this is a gift here, a blessing. So I'm offering a blessing for you. So here's a taste of a blessing today. 111, if you're into that sort of thing. I want to thank you all so much for supporting me on YouTube. Thank you so much for exploring. I hope you found it helpful, meaningful. Share something in the comments here about what purgatory means to you. What do you think about the journey? How do you relate to it? How do you feel about your higher self? We all want that beautiful connection. And sometimes we get frustrated with it. Sometimes we feel empty and alone with it. Like we're just talking to the air, but the air is listening and the air is loving you back. And never forget that. It's just being human. Sometimes it gets in the way. All right. I love you all. Have a very beautiful day.